Alright, well, what's up again, my friends? Welcome to another episode of Carpology. Hell if I know. I'm going to maybe turn on a couple lights here. Just got back from dropping off picking up my 7-year-old from school. And while I was out and about, I had a couple of thoughts, I guess, but by the time I got back here, I really didn't want to cover those particular subjects because they obviously weren't worthy enough because I don't remember them. There are several things that I think about on a daily basis that I just really want to talk about, and I don't have a lot of people to talk about these things with. I'm very fortunate that my wife is on the same page as me on a lot of these things, that we can actually discuss corruption and greed and the problems with the world without her telling me, oh, you're just too wrapped up in believing conspiracies or this or that, because she knows I don't lean that direction, because we've been together so long that seems like for the last 10 years I've kind of abandoned worrying about the world issues, because I have my own life to live. I have, kids to raise, and I have moments that I want to enjoy and remember, which brings me really to the kind of point of this video, which is how much do we actively pursue bettering the world versus how much we actively pursue bettering our own lives. Now, first off, often those are one and the same, especially in regards to the idea that when we help other people, when we're altruistic, then we feel good inside. We may not gain anything monetarily or material from assisting others, or we may, depending on what we value, but generally it's a feeling of well-being that we get from that. And giving without expectation is what I'm talking about, of course. There's a lot of charity that people do that want to tell everyone about it, oh, I did this or I did that, which brings me, I guess I should totally mention this, because this is another thing I've been wanting to mention and I keep forgetting. For those who are aware of the Standing Rock protest that's been going on right now with the pipeline, regardless of how you feel about it or if you're even aware of it, there are a lot of people out there who are going to be suffering a brutal winter out there trying to protest to protect lands that you and I live on. Perhaps you don't live in this country, but you know what I mean. We all live on this planet together. And whether you support the Native American tribes getting in the way of progress or not, and I say that sarcastically because it's not progress in my eyes. I see that we need to completely rethink the way that we're doing things in the world of oil pipelines going across important waterways. And I don't want to get into that detail, but there are plenty of reasons not to put that pipeline in. Well, I just wanted to say that they do need winter clothes, and they need help with a variety of things. Right now, from what I understand, they need gloves and warm undergarments, such as like long johns, things like that. But I mentioned it because my wife and I made a box to send out there a couple weeks ago, and we haven't finished out sending stuff out yet, hadn't got it mailed, and then she ran into somebody at work who drives out there regularly, so we're just going to give him a box to take out for us. But the point being here is that it's a small thing that each person can do when they hear that somebody is in need of help. We want to help each other, and we want to do good things, but we get to a limit where, obviously I can't go spend hundreds of dollars to send to other people when I can barely get by myself. And it's not about money. That's really not where I'm trying to go here. Delicious cup of coffee. Oh, it's like perfect. I ran out of my artificial sweetener, which I use like a stevia blend, so I had to use regular sugar, and I love regular sugar in my coffee. But I try to take care of myself, so I don't want to consume too much sugar. Everything's about balance. And this is where the one thing that I'm really trying to get across here, I guess, if anything, is that sometimes we're so trapped in our own lives, we don't have any way to share anything with other people, that we're so wrapped up in our own way of thinking that we forget that everybody else has suffering and issues too, that the world isn't just a stage for our play. And that word comes up again, the word that I already forgot, sonder, the realization that everyone has a life just as complex and detailed as yours. And what got me thinking about this was when I was coming home from picking up my son from school, I stopped and picked several mushrooms, looked at a holly tree and a couple of other really interesting trees, took a route we haven't taken, and I really investigate everything. I'm always investigating stuff on my way home or traveling. And when I got home, I had this thought cross my mind that if I were a different person or in a different mindset, that I might just wander the whole way home thinking about all the problems I have. And then I instantly remembered that there have been times when I felt that way in life, and that there are millions of people out there, billions of people out there, who walk around in their daily life worrying about the what ifs, or the what should have beens, or the what could be's, or what's wrong with them, or what they should improve, instead of enjoying the moment that they're out. That's what they mean by living in the now. They don't mean that you ignore the future and the past. They mean that you, when you are immersed into something, that you're fully immersed in it, and that you're not worrying. There is plenty of time to worry about shit. Which would bring me to this guy right here. Haven't named him yet. I just got this in the mail today. I ordered it on eBay. Has a detachable jaw, which actually does kind of sit in there. It's a scaled replica. They said it was full size. I didn't realize it was a full size child, but I put the little spider on his head there. There's something to me very, I guess isn't this the position that whatever Shakespeare, with the whole idea of, Descartes sitting and looking at a skull like, I think, therefore I am, there's a reason why skulls are so fascinating. It's death right in front of you, looking you in the eyes, quite literally, but there's something fascinating about having a skull. It just reminds you that you're going to die. And I play around with that joke. I've made videos in the past where I said, hey, you're going to die, stuff like that. Like, to me, it's something we have to joke about. Think about the show Family Guy. I don't know, anybody who watches it, and shows like South Park, and even The Simpsons, of course, they were OG. But tackling societal issues that nobody would dare put in an actual comedy show or a television show. That only people that could get away with talking about those things were cartoon characters, because we could disassociate from the reality that we are just like them and that we all face these same problems. But all the problems that are tackled, often death is one of the ones that is least dealt with, but the most fun can be poked at it. In Family Guy, there's Death, the character Death, who's played by Norm Macdonald, I guess. And, it's very casual and nonchalant. It's this idea that, it's your time, I'm going to go. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't want to die, okay? I'm sure you don't want to die either. Some of you might. But, you really don't. It's that little joke that we play with ourselves, like when life's going really bad. I've never wanted to die. The only time I've even thought that death might even be preferable was when I was in excruciating sciatic pain. But even then, I still had that reason and rationality to say, of course I wouldn't do that. Suicide is a serious issue to a lot of people, and they suffer greatly from suicidal tendencies and ideas that can cause major grief in a person, and that's something to be dealt with seriously. But for those who are more stable about those kinds of things, people who don't have any desire to kill themselves or that aren't suicidal or overly fearful already, I would urge you to delve into death as a subject. Analyze what all the different cultures and religions believe. What keeps people going is often the belief that this life isn't everything, that after this they'll go on to something better. I don't have beliefs about the afterlife, But I do have beliefs about this life. And I can say that I can be an expert on this life I'm living, but I can never be an expert on any other life that I may live, or any existence outside this realm. And I'll tell you, I've explored reincarnation deeply. I'm a very big fan of Manly P. Hall, and I've listened to his ideas of reincarnation, hundreds of lectures, and I've still come to the conclusion that there's always these little pieces that don't make sense. Such as, well, you're improving from life to life, but you forget your previous life. And the idea is that you grow and you live in these same patterns. I shouldn't get into the details because then I'll end up having to explain the whole thing. But reincarnation, as it's stated, doesn't quite work for me. Although I do believe that, something may carry on, our energy or whatever it may be. But that's kind of off the subject. The thing is that I've had discussions with Christians who they're able to live their life, some of them, in this life and deal with the suffering that they have because they believe that they will be rewarded in the next life. For the same reason, no different than a suicide bomber who's promised that he's going to go and see Allah afterwards and his family will be rewarded. Often it's people telling other people what God wants. And to me that's very silly. I have the written word of man has helped us so much, but it's also dug us into some serious holes, because it's like when you write a law, sometimes laws change, and we change with the laws, and the laws change with us. Not always. But when it comes to written word of religion, there's nobody changing it. There's no alterations of text or new interpretations of it, at least not in modern days. So we're stuck interpreting things the way that folks once did. But all of the religion politics aside, it's just important that we understand that we will die one day and not make a big deal about it. And once, you'll never conquer your fear completely. You just have to change it from a fear to an understanding. And anyway, yeah. Enough rambling about that. My video has already gotten pretty long, and I want to make another one about something, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off, and I'll talk to you all on the flip side.